Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be going through the Vertus webbing, and we're going to be going through how to set this up. So setting up the hip pad with the yoke, and also how to attach the pouches. After that, then I'm going to go through each of the pouches and explain how you use them, and also talk about necessary adjustments so the Vertus webbing fits you correctly. Also, I'm also going to go through how the yoke integrates with the 17-litre assault pack, which is also part of the Vertus system. So let's get into it. So this is the whole belt kit disassembled. Now when you get issued Vertus, you'll generally get it issued like this, all completely disassembled, unless you're getting a second-hand one from someone. The first thing to look for is to make sure your yoke comes with this little piece. So this piece needs to go inside the hip belt, and sometimes if you get issued a second-hand yoke, it doesn't come with this, and then you've got nothing to attach the back part of this yoke onto the belt. So this is the belt itself. So as you can see, there's a slight curvature to it, and this is for the user's comfort, so it curves around your body. I have used this quite a lot and it is really comfortable to use. You've got 3 rows of PALS webbing running across for attaching your MOLLE pouches. There's also this little flappy bit, which is to go with the DWD spine, which you probably won't come across because there's a shortage of it. Depending on the size of your hip belt, you'll have a number of columns. So I have the medium one, and that has 18 columns of MOLLE running across. So if you have small, obviously you're going to get less. If you have large, you'll have more. Just depends on the size of the wearer. The first part is to connect the yoke to the belt. And to do that, you need to take off this part first. So this comes off just by Velcro. So if you look at this piece of webbing, you've got the hook Velcro on one side and the loop weld Velcro. So the hook is the scratchy bit, and then the loop bit is the soft bit. So you need to make sure they match up with the corresponding bit inside the belt. The first thing is to open up the belt. And you can see in there as well, we've got the hook bit, which is the scratchy bit, and then we've got the loop bit, which is the soft bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to match up the soft bit with the scratchy bit. So there's two holes on the end of this belt. I'll just show you. So you essentially need to pull those 2 plastic buckles through these holes, and then this little bit here for the spine is the midpoint. This bit can be a bit fiddly because your Velcro is going to attach to the side as you're trying to put it in. If you want to make your job easier, you can just cover this with a bit of plastic, like a plastic bag or something, whilst you're fitting it through, but I can't be bothered to do that. So right, so I've pulled those 2 buckles through. That's pretty much central. So I'm just going to press down on the Velcro so it's fixed in place. Right, so now you've got the buckle attached. And then what you want to do is you want to get your H yoke. So this is called a H yoke because it looks like a H. If you look at it like this, it looks like a H. And you just want to thread that into the buckles. And if I turn it around, I'll show you that there's essentially 3 height adjustments on the back. You've got long, medium, and short. So depending on the height of the wearer. So I'm just going to put it on medium for now, and we can adjust that later. All right. Right, and then what you're going to have is these two straps of the yoke. You need to connect that. Now, this strap is quite interesting in that there's two ways you can connect it. So you've got this kind of D-ring buckle at the front, and then you can either hook this back onto the yoke. So there's a hook point here, which you can attach to, and same on the other side as well. You've got this point here you can attach to, or you can mount it the traditional way, so you mount it onto the belt itself. I tend to mount it on the belt itself because it gives more support for the weight of the pouches, but if you wanted to, you can mount it on here. And what I find with that is if you do mount it on here, it's a little bit more comfortable when you're in the prone, because you don't have the webbing holding you down at the front. But for now, I'm just going to attach it to the belt itself and then fit on the pouches. So how you attach this is you literally just thread this webbing through the D-buckle, and then that catches on this other flap of the webbing. So you can see the webbing forms like a Y shape, and then it locks the buckle in place so it can't come out again. And now onto the other side as well. Just thread that through the buckle. And that locks in place. Right, so now that the yoke is attached to the belt, I'm going to start mounting the pouches onto the PALS webbing. Now whenever I do this, what I tend to do is I tend to firstly put the pouches on loosely, and then once I have a gauge of where it's positioned and I can try the belt on, make sure it's mounted in the correct position for me, then I'll weave the MOLLE on properly so it's fixed properly in place. So this just saves you a bit of time. If you start threading on the MOLLE, you mounted it all completely, and then you realise, my mag pouch is not quite in the right place, or my grenade pouch is not in the right place, then you're going to have to take all that stuff off. I'm going to start with a single mag pouch, so I'm going to mount that. So because I know how it fits for me, so I'm going to miss 2 columns here, and then I'm going to go on the 3rd and 4th column. So that's my single mag pouch. Then I'm going to mount this double mag pouch. Right, so after the double mag pouch, I'm going to put my water pouch. And then after that, I'm going to put my bayonet frog. And next up is the med pouch. So the reason why I like to mount the bayonet frog in between the water bottle pouch and the med pouch is that although the water bottle pouch only takes up 2 columns of MOLLE and the med pouch takes up 3, you can see that these pouches actually flare out quite a bit. So if you put them right next to each other, they tend to be a little bit tight. So I like to use the bayonet frog to add a little bit of space for them. Because generally you're not going to be, on exercise, generally you're not going to be issued a bayonet. Right, and then after the med pouch, I'm going to mount my utility pouch, and then my smoke pouch, and then finally my grenade pouch. Right, so this is all my pouches mounted on, except for this last single magazine pouch, and I'll show you what I do with this later. But for now, I'm going to put it on just to make sure it's in the right place, and then see if I like the positioning of all the pouches, and then we can go through and mount them properly in place. Right, so this is the webbing on my person, and I can just check through that I like the positioning of all these pouches, so I can reach my magazines. So magazine here, I can reach my water bottle, I can reach my bayonet, med pouch, and then utility pouch, smoke pouch, grenade pouch. Now the reason why I don't mount a mag pouch here is there's only 3 sizes of the hip belt, so you're generally not going to get one that's the exact fit for your person. unless you're like the exact standard size. So what I find is when I tend to mount a mag pouch here, because this webbing is meant to sit on your hips, then it sort of digs into my leg when I'm moving about. So I generally leave this one clear, unless it's going to be a small pouch. I'm not going to put something here, just because the mag pouches are a little bit longer. So now that I know that the pouches are where I want them to be, I can weave the MOLLE in properly, so the pouches are properly fixed in place. So to do that, I'm going to start off with the first pouch. I've threaded the webbing onto the first row of the belt, so then I need to thread it back into the webbing on the actual pouch, and then after that the next row on the belt, and then again the next row on the pouch, and what you want to do is each time pull it tight. Last row on the belt, and then the last row on the pouch. And what you'll notice on the straps is that there's loop Velcro on the straps, and then on the last row of the pouch there's hook Velcro. So what you do is you can Velcro that in place, and then you can tuck these straps back onto the webbing on the belt, like so. And that's the pouch mounted. So I'll just do another one just for demonstration purposes. So firstly, position the pouch on the belt. I flip the pouch upside down, take the webbing, thread it through the first row on the belt, and then thread it on the first row on the pouch, and then the second row on the belt, and then the second row on the pouch, then the last row on the belt, last row on the pouch, and then you tuck the straps back in on the webbing on the belt, like so. And once that's in, you press down on the Velcro so that keeps it in place. Now you just need to do that across the whole belt. So same principle applies across, and you'll find it easier if you've got stuff in the pouches. Take it out of the pouches, because it'll make your life easier. So I'm just going to do that for the rest. So we'll take the water bottle out. Right, so just a note on the smoke pouch. So the smoke pouch and the grenade pouch, they're not as long as the other pouches. So what you'll find is you generally don't have to mount them onto the last row on the belt. So, but the same principle applies. You just weave in and out, and then once you get to the last pouch, there's two sort of options. So you can either Velcro it down and thread onto the second row, or you can, if you want it a little bit more secure, you can go onto the third row, but then what it will mean is you can't make use of the Velcro to secure it, which is not actually too much of a problem, because what you can do is you can just still thread it back on like so. Right, so that's one option. Or if you wanted to, you can miss the top row and then just have it riding a little lower on the belt, and then you would be able to make use of the Velcro on the back of the straps. But either way is fine. You can see this is secure, it's not going to come out. To show you what I mean with the grenade pouch, so I can take it out of the top row, start threading it here. So now you can see, because I've mounted it lower, it exposes the Velcro, so I can thread it on. Now I tend to prefer how the smoke pouch is mounted, because I prefer high ride on the pouches. I don't like my pouches riding too low, so I'm going to put them back. That's just for demonstration purposes. Right, that's the pouches attached. One more thing, which I said I was going to mention earlier. So we've got this one extra single mag pouch, which I've left off because I don't like having a mag pouch here. So what we can do with this is, rather than mounting it on the first two columns, the single mag pouch itself has PALS webbing across the front, and we can double stack the single mag pouches. So same principle applies, just weave it in and out. Right, and there you have it, all the pouches mounted on properly. Right, so let's go through the pouches now. So starting from my left, so we've got the two single mag pouches molded together. So these are the quick access type mag pouches. They are literally just open webbing fabric. So the material is quite good, it's good quality, and all the Virtus pouches, they appear to be double skinned. So what I mean by that is you've got the outer webbing, which is probably like 1000D Cordura style material, and then inside they've got another PU layer. So some of the other pouches I've got from other makes, such as like British Tactical, they tend to only be single skin. So you'll have a outer 1000D Cordura multicam layer, and then inside you'll have a PU coating, but it wouldn't be a proper PU, another layer. So this material is really tough. It's very robust. It's meant to be beaten up by squaddies for a long time before it like tears and rips. So really good quality pouches. I've used these in field and they're all right as pouches. The only thing I would say is that these bungees are really tight. So it can be a pain sometimes when you're in a rush trying to get your magazines back in, especially because these pouches, they don't hold their shape. So they're literally just fabric and they will just flatten down. And then because the bungees are so tight, it can be quite difficult sometimes to just get that up and put it over your mag. I know a lot of people, they end up just cutting these bungees off. I wouldn't advise that because you're at greater risk of losing your mags that way because there's no other retention. Yeah, not advisable. Or perhaps if you do find it too difficult, just replace these with slightly longer bungees, which is pretty easy to do. You can just untie this and then just thread on a different set of bungees. Moving to the next pouch. So we've got a double mag pouch here, and this is more of the traditional mag pouch with the flap that covers the magazines. It's Velcro with buttons to secure it. In general practice, you'll probably only use the Velcro to secure it. This will fit your two standard 5.56 mags. Now the former PLC pouches, they used to be able to fit 6. So they've reduced the number of mags you can carry now. And in general, the idea about Virtus, you may notice when you get issued the pouches is that you can't carry as much stuff on there. If you look at here, you've got a smoke pouch and a grenade pouch here. Previously on the PLC webbing, you would have 2 magazine pouches here. So generally you wouldn't put extra mags there. You would have your smokes and you'll put your grenades in the ammo pouch. And also you would have utility pouches. You would generally have like 2 utility pouches and a water pouch, and you would be able to get a lot more stuff in there. But the idea with Virtus is to fight light. So this was a review of the amount of gear that soldiers were carrying in Afghanistan, and they were regularly carrying something like 50 kilos plus. The whole idea of Virtus webbing is you're not meant to carry too much stuff on you. Right, next up we've got the water bottle pouch. So just to go on the outside first, there's a little pouch here, and this is for your water purification tablets. So if you had some of those out of your ration pack, you would keep them in there. And then this pouch, again, secured by Velcro, and it has a nice little touch, and you can unvelcro the strap here, and if you pull on that, it pulls your water bottle out. So it's just easier to get hold of your water bottle. So it's got the Velcro and it's got a buckle to secure it as well. And on the side, you also have some Velcro. So if you want to keep it tidy, you can just Velcro that down. Next up, we've got a bayonet frog. So this is much better than the previous bayonet frog we had. So we had this bayonet frog before that was just this massive, great big bit of webbing, and it was always like coming undone and falling off. This bayonet frog, not much to say really, same kind of material. You can put the bayonet with the scabbard in there, you just slot it in there and then secure it with Velcro. Right, next up we've got the med pouch. Med pouch is zipped, so you can unzip that, and then there's a pull handle here. If you pull up, you get this pack, and inside the pack you've got space for 2 tourniquets and 2 ECBs, and then you've got another organisational pouch here. Pretty standard in terms of modern med pouches. And then inside here you've got some elastic loops. You can put your side-looms here. You can maybe put a couple of pens in there for marking your tourniquets. There's also a little flap here you can lift up. You can put stuff in there as well. And then on the front of the pouch, you've also got quick access compartment there, so you can put maybe your MISTAT card in there. So one thing to note on these pouches, when they are full, it can come undone sometimes. So what you do is, with these two zippers, they've got some paracord on the end, you just tuck the knot into the loop of the other one. If the zips start coming apart, they'll lock in on each other like a jungle knot, and then it will stop it opening out. Even if it does open out, as long as you've got this Velcroed on properly, the main contents won't fall out. You might lose your pens, your Silems and stuff, but generally you wouldn't lose your bandages and your tourniquets. Next up, we've got the utility pouch. So again, you've got the tough, double-skinned material, and then you also have this storm hood, which is stitched in. So this is to allow you to overpack these pouches, so you can pack it up to here, and then even if you can't get the flap completely down, you can still buckle it and cinch it tight, and the storm hood stops stuff falling out. So whenever I use the Virtus webbing, I'll normally keep my nods in there, so my night vision goggles, might keep some spare batteries in there, and that's about it really. Next up, smoke pouch, secured by Velcro and a plastic buckle. Same two layered skin material, and the same with the grenade pouch, just a little bit smaller than the smoke pouch, so it'll fit your standard grenade in there. Right, next up, let's go through adjusting the webbing. So as mentioned earlier, we've got the height adjustment at the back here. So we've got the long, medium and short settings. I tend to have mine on long because I've got quite a long torso. And then on the front straps, you've got adjustments here as well. So you can make the straps longer. And what I like about this webbing is there's these elastic loops here where you can just tidy that extra bit of webbing away so it doesn't get caught on stuff. If you ever used the old PLC webbings, what we did back then was we would just tape up the excess webbing, but then every time you needed to change the adjustment, you had to retape it up, so it wasn't convenient. On the front, we've got adjustments for the buckle as well. So what you have here is you've got this front two straps are for tightening the belt. There's a strap here where if you pull on the middle one, you can make the straps longer. So as you pull on the middle strap, the outer strap will thread closer inside the belt, like so. You do it on the other side as well. So if you pull on the middle strap, the outer strap will go further inwards, and you can extend the buckle further out. So when you come to wear it, what you do is put your webbing on, you use the birdcage buckle, just thread that through, and then you just pull on these two straps until it's tight. And where you want it is, you want it to sit on your hips. And the reason behind that is when you then carry your Bergen, the weight will be loaded onto your hips, so it helps support the load. So you don't want it too high, you want it right on the hips. And the belt itself, there's that curvature of the belt, which is designed to wrap around the hip and hug onto the hips. So what you notice is when belt kits don't have this curve to them, they don't sit too well on the hips. Some of the belt kits are a bit tubey. If you see my review of the kit pin webbing, one of my criticisms of that webbing was that it's quite tubey, so it doesn't help support the load on your hips. This webbing is actually quite comfortable to help bear load. So currently I've got my straps hooked onto the yoke itself, and so there's two options. So this is known as the backpack configuration. So you can either put it in the backpack configuration, or you can hook it around the front, as I had done earlier, and that would be the classic configuration. And there's different use cases for both. So if you wanted to have the yoke under your body armor, typically you would have the straps hooked onto the front, in the classic configuration. When you would want it hooked onto the yoke itself, the backpack configuration, that's when you want to add attachments to the back, either to the MOLLE or to the zips. So I'll show you the attachments with the day sack. So the 17-litre assault day sack, you have multiple options for this as well. So you do have the straps to use it like a standard backpack. You just take out these straps and then you'll thread that into these hooks, the same kind of hooks you've got on the webbing. But if you wanted to, you can also mount this directly onto the webbing using the zips. So this system, one of the strengths of this system is really geared towards user comfort. You've got different ways you can configure your system, your equipment, so it's comfortable for you. So some people don't like to have their yoke over their body armor. Some people prefer to have it under, in which case you would use this like a standard backpack. Some people do like this configuration, in which case you can just zip it on. So just show you how to do that. And that's a 17-litre assault pack zipped on. So really useful to have. And I'll just go through this backpack quickly. So this, I don't know if I can call it a day sack. I'll call it more of a jack sack, because really it's something that you would only use for when you're assaulting a position. There's not much you can fit in there. It's really to fit your mission critical stuff, something you would have to carry with you when you're fighting. So this would include serialized kit, your water, maybe some warm kit, maybe some wet kit if you're going to be static for a long time. But generally it's the stuff you carry when you're actually attacking the position. So inside the backpack at the top, what we've got this top pocket here. This is actually designed for your NVGs, your nods, so you can put that in there. Other electronic items. It's really well padded, so it protects against damage. And then you have got a large main compartment with these straps. And these straps are designed to carry a radio, or you can use it to carry your water bladder. And then on both sides, you've got holes where you can thread out the antennae, or you can thread out the water bladder tube for drinking out of. And on the front, you've got a small pocket which actually goes in quite deep. So you can put some items in there. And if you wanted to, you can extend it slightly using MOLLE. Again, with the webbing straps, you've got these nice elastic bits to keep it tidy, so you don't have to tape it down. And you've got 4 webbing straps and buckles to just cinch down the pack, so it's nice and tight and tidy. So this is the Vertez webbing in backpack mode. Now, there's another attachment which I forgot to mention earlier, which you can also use with this. The reason I forgot about it is because I've literally never used it. That is the rider hydration bladder. So the reason I don't use this is like an alternative to the old salt pack, which you can mount onto the MOLLE on the back of the yoke. So what you have is you have 4 clips here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And how would you use that is you would just clip that into the corners of the MOLLE webbing. So 2 on the bottom, 2 at the top. And then this supplies you with water. So you've got your Source Tactical water bladder inside. This is your drinking tube. Now, the reason why I never use this is because generally my water bladder, I don't have it in this pouch. I would have it in my day sack, or I would have it in this assault pack. And then I would just do away with this. And the reason behind that is because this is literally just a single function pouch. all you can carry in it is your water bladder. You can't really put much else on it. There's some POWERS MOLLE webbing on the front. You might be able to attach it some extra pouch on, but realistically, you can't really fit much on. But similar to the 17-litre Assault day pack, you've got webbing straps. If you wanted to use it as a backpack rather than have it mounted onto the yoke, you can do. Again, you've got the same webbing anchor points if you wanted to attach the strap to the front. Right, and that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and liking the video if you got some value out of the video. And I'll be back soon with another video on webbing